Right, so a little experiment before we jump into today's video. I'm about to show you an image which, if it sends shivers down your spine, you know exactly what the red ring of death is. So, are you ready? Here it is. Oh god, just looking at it now just gives me the creepy crawlies. This was the very last thing any Xbox gamer wanted to see back in the day. Hello! Welcome to Brain Spill, the laziest show on the internet. My name is Tank, and just looking at that image has already brought back some PTSD memories. Yes, the red ring of death. This is essentially the flatlining of your Xbox console. Something which you've spent hours playing only for it to, for whatever reason, not actually load up. And just to show you these ominous red rings instead of the normal green ones. There were instances of people being able to effectively resuscitate their Xbox consoles. However, today we're going to be talking about what these red rings are and how so many people were a victim of the red ring of death. For those of you verging into your late 20s and maybe even early 30s, you'll probably know what these are, in particular if you were an active gamer at the time. And yes, if you do know what this is, then of course I'm going to make you relive all those painful memories of getting the red ring of death on your Xbox 360 console. The console itself has a power button broken up into 4 segments of a circle, all with LED lights behind them. Normally it is green, which indicates the amount of controllers that are connected up to your console at any one given time. However, when it's red, you get error codes. With each amount, 1 red light a hardware failure, 2 red lights being overheating, 3 lights being a general hardware failure, and 4 lights being an AV cable error. What's strange is the 4 light error was not the fabled error we all know. That might be just a connection issue with the AV cable on the console. No. The true error that everybody was looking out for, the one which was becoming so infamous amongst gamers, was the 3 lights pattern, and if you got that, your console was effectively on death's door. Yes, the infamous error, known as the red ring of death, would soon become synonymous with the fact that your console's pretty fucked if you got this. Warning signs may include freeze-ups, graphical problems in the middle of gameplay, such as checkerboard or pinstripe patterns on the screen, sound errors, and the console only responding to the pressing of the power button to turn it off. All of which are very early signs of the red ring of death, which may happen multiple times before the inevitable occurs. So, what actually causes this? Well, the 3 red lights, like I mentioned, is being defined as a general hardware error. Basically, if a component in the console for whatever reason stops working, then the whole thing decides, well, I can't function anymore, and gives you the red ring of death. It was sometimes recorded by users that if they experienced a power surge, that sometimes if they just simply unplugged everything from their console and plugged it back in, that it sometimes fixed the problem. Of course, this was only in a few instances, but you'd think that anyone with any sense to them whatsoever would probably try to do this when trying to fix the console, but who knows. So, when the Xbox 360 console was first released around 2005, the first model of this console was particularly prone to this issue happening, and after so ever long of using the console, user reports started to become more publicly known as more and more people started experiencing the red ring of death on their Xbox 360 consoles. I should know, because I was lucky enough, or unlucky enough, to get pretty much one of the first runs of batches of the console, which was pretty sweet. I mean, I guess it was good that I was able to get the console early, which was all nice, but due to the fact that this was probably one of the first run designs of the console, it probably had a lot of the hardware issues which was patched out or figured out later down the line, meaning that I would be very much prone, like many other people, to experiencing the red ring of death. I was absolutely over the moon when my parents managed to get hold of an Xbox 360 console, somehow, because I remember at that particular Christmas period, they were going out very, very quickly. If only we knew. Yep, I always knew that would come back to bite me in the ass at some time in the future. That's partly why I don't tend to get the new consoles straight away when they're released now. That, and also because of the fact that even if I wanted to, I probably couldn't. Microsoft gets their Xboxes in stock, thank you. And yes, I saw the news reports. I saw people complaining about their consoles effectively dying on them, and I knew that for me it was only a matter of time. So, how did Dr. Tank, yours truly, bring this console back to life? Well, when this happened to me, I found a pretty neat trick online which a lot of people tried and miraculously worked for some people, including me. This is the infamous towel trick. Right, to do this, the first thing you do is you unplug your console, wrap it up in towels, and then just leave it for an extended period of time. This, I shit you not, actually worked, and the reasons as to why it worked, people aren't 100% sure, but there's a few people that have got a bit of an inkling out there. And honestly, at the time, I didn't really even care how it worked, I just wanted it fixed, so if someone said throw your console out the window, I probably would have done it. The apparent science behind this fix, however, comes from the fact that one of the possible causes for the red ring of death came from the fact that the solder used inside the console was questionable. And by doing this, the stored heat allowed the solder to mould back into place and re-establish the connector inside the console. Apparently. And this apparently only worked sometimes with some consoles, so you've got to be pretty lucky if this is the cause of your issue that you can somehow miraculously fix it just by wrapping it in some towels. This is well and truly insane. It was reported that the failure rate for the consoles was between 23.7 and 54.2% on all consoles. That's a lot of consoles bricking and dying, folks. But thankfully for you consumers out there, Microsoft agreed to stunt the cost of the repairs to make sure that anybody that experienced this problem could, well, get it fixed without there being any additional expense to them. Most of the time. That, and also if you're willing to forego your console for 3 weeks just to get a new one, or one that's allegedly been fixed. Former Xbox leader Robbie Back made the decision to agree to repair or replace affected consoles, which, according to his measure, cost the company upwards of $1 billion. During the first year of Xbox 360 sales, we began to receive customer complaints about Xboxes shutting down and refusing to start back up again. 3 of the 4 ringed lights on the Xbox faceplate would light up red, and the machine would just stop dead in its tracks. It's a 3 red lights thing, which unfortunately for us doesn't tell us anything. It doesn't tell you squat about why, but the hardware is saying to us, I'm finished and I'm not going to start again. It could have been almost dying. At the end of a long difficult conversation, we took a deep breath and decided to extend our warranty to 3 years and repair or replace every console affected. It was the biggest decision I made in my 22 years at Microsoft. No question. Now, this issue was never truly fixed until the release of the remodeled Xbox 360S Slimline model in 2010. Although Microsoft has never actually come out and explained the true cause of these issues, I think a lot of people have managed to pick up what they're putting down and piece together exactly what these issues were. Effectively, the things I've already said. So yeah, shit happens. And I think the main thing to take away from this is that they must have learned a bloody good lesson, because for them to go ahead and agree to repair and replace pretty much every single console which was affected by this is a pretty costly exercise and something which any company doesn't want to have to fork out if they can avoid it. Naturally. If you like the video, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to be notified as soon as I upload my next video, be sure to hit the bell button. And if you've got any ideas for what topics you'd like me to discuss next, let me know down in the comments below. As always, sources used in the video will be in the description. You know what? If the towel trick works for my Xbox 360 console, I might just have to do the same thing to me. Wrap myself up in towels and just hope that all my problems go away. It might not fix everything, but it's worth a shot. I'll see you guys in the next video. Fantastic.